Let's break down a sample question from section A of the LNAT together. This is the reading comprehension section of the paper. Here's what section A typically looks like. As you can see, it consists of comprehension questions over here based on a passage here, which is usually about 500 words long. There are 12 passages in section A, each followed by 3 or 4 questions. But for today, we'll focus on a shorter passage. Take a look. Feel free to pause the video if you'd like to have a go at this question independently first, then we'll go through it together step by step. The question asks us to identify the main argument of the paragraph. This is a common question type in section A, although it may be phrased differently. For example, you might be asked to find the main point or the main criticism in a text. Sometimes you'll need to determine the argument of the whole passage. Other times you'll only need to determine the argument of a single paragraph. Here, we're just focusing on one paragraph. This question type doesn't require a deep dive into the finer detail of the text. Instead, it's about grasping the overall thrust of the passage. To do that, we need to analyse the structure of the argument, asking ourselves why the author is saying what they're saying and what conclusion they're driving towards. In this text, the writer starts by expressing surprise that the developers were allowed to build where they did. He then highlights that the developers are profit-driven and will build wherever they can to maximise profit. The paragraph then concludes by saying that the planning authorities should not have been allowed to build where they did, as the builds interfered with the cricket ground. When identifying main arguments, the beginning and the end of passages are often key. Here, the writer starts and ends by arguing that the developers shouldn't have been allowed to build by the cricket ground. This being the main argument is supported by the way that the housing developers are described. The piece is not overly critical of the housing developers, instead placing emphasis on the idea that they need to be overseen by the local planning authority. Now let's turn to the answer options and identify the strongest answer. For main argument questions where you're looking for the answer that best captures the passage's overall point, the best strategy is process of elimination. Option A focuses on the housing developers. While the housing developers are described in the passage, as we've already discussed, the main argument is not about them. It's about the need for planning authorities to regulate them. So we can eliminate A. Option B is tempting. The key criticism is about the new houses being built so close to the cricket ground. However, this option is too broad. The writer isn't making a general argument about housing developments near sporting grounds, just about this particular housing development being near this particular cricket ground. So let's cross out B. Option C is more promising. It captures the overarching criticism of the planning authority well. Let's keep it in for now and check D. Option D focuses on protecting the cricket ground from new builds. Unlike answer option B, it is specific to this case, so it seems like a strong contender. Like many LNAT questions, we're down to 2 final choices. Now let's decide between them. When stuck between 2 options, it helps to articulate the difference between them. Is one broader? Is one stronger? Does their focus differ? Here, answer option C criticises the planning authority, while answer option D focuses on protecting the cricket ground. To decide, we should check whether the passage is more about criticising the authorities or about emphasising the importance of protecting the cricket ground. Clearly, the first option, C, is stronger. The passage opens with the writer's surprise that permission was granted, and it's explicitly stating that this shouldn't have happened. So we can cross out D, and we can select C as our correct answer option. As we can see, that is indeed the correct answer.